Okay, Tuesday morning, about 7 a.m. I think that's snow on my sleeping bag, which is completely soaked. So we had about 60-mile-an-hour winds last night. I tucked into the rock as much as I could. I did not use the plastic because I figured it would just shred in the wind. But I had it. So I kind of put it in the hole down here. I didn't see anything forecast for rain, but it did. So I'm tucked in the bag, trying to hold it down, wind just howling. Start hearing ping, ping, ping once in a while. So I stayed in the sleeping bag until I got completely soaked. And got up, hit the restroom, dug out the plastic. By then the wind had slowed down quite a bit. So I used the plastic to block the wind and the last little bit of the rain. So I'm mostly dry, cold but dry, mostly. Yeah, the sleeping bag pretty much absorbed all the water. So I kept it on until it started getting wet on the inside. It's supposed to clear up in about an hour or so. We shouldn't have the high winds anymore, so I'm just gonna get up and move around and think good dry socks on or something like that, and hope the sun comes up pretty soon. The sun set that way, so it's going to be forever before I get the sun coming over this hill here. But anyway, one step at a time. Alright, 7:45 update. Nice of them to leave me a great big sign in the middle of my campsite. Perfect for drying your sleeping bag. You can see the wet lines. There was frost and snow on this. So about, I don't know, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, something like that. I gave up on the sleeping bag because the moisture was soaking through. So I just put it on the picnic table and grabbed the plastic and wrapped up in that. That blocked the wind. I was wet, but I wasn't getting blow dried. So that seemed to help. Anyway, yeah. So the plastic also is wet. So if I can just let that warm up and evaporate, we'll be fine. Everything is covered in a layer of sand. Just cleaned the solar panel, but it was just caked. All the sand in there. There was tumbleweeds all over in here. Little guys hanging. Yeah. Honestly, I was more concerned about heat exhaustion going through the desert and running out of water. I wasn't thinking hypothermia too much. Anyway. It's not going to get super warm today, but the sun will come out. It's already a lot of blue, so just gotta wait for it. Sun on the other side of the valley. Any moment now. Yeah, crazy. Okay, 9:30, finally loaded. I had to wait for the things like the sleeping bags to get dry after the rain last night. Had stuff hanging on the fences and stuff. Better than it was. Yeah, it's kind of cool. Mostly white with little pink layers in it. So the bike is loaded and we're ready to roll. Yeah, there's some really neat spots here. I'm going to have to definitely keep this in mind. This was the White House on BLM land on Highway 89 in Utah. Yeah, we're in Utah. It's all running together. And yeah, let's see. Hank and family over there. Nice to meet you all. And Scott over here. Thanks for the beer. Y'all have a good one and safe travels. Let's get on the road before we blow away again. Well, only a few miles out of camp, nearly to the top of a pretty good hill. I stopped at the bottom and let the battery charge. I stopped about halfway up because it seemed like the motor was smelling warm or something. So I'm like, yeah, let's take a little break, get to the top, take another break. Yeah, these were kind of cool. Alright, just a little pause to catch my breath before the hill. I just was noticing, yes, we have trees again and these look nice, but the contrast between the bright green and the red soil, that's pretty cool. It really stands out. No idea what's around the next corner. Overall, pretty awesome. View from the top. The actual top, not the other top, which was not the actual top. Holy cow. Just getting hammered. It's not as bad as yesterday. It's not going to be like 65 miles an hour, but I think I got a solid 18 to 20 mile an hour headwind. And plus I'm climbing. Well, that was the thing, is right off the bat, I climbed about 500 feet. So the first hour was 4 miles or something like that. But I've only gone about 12 miles so far today, I think, if that. I don't know. I keep looking at these big trees and I'm like, what's going to happen is I'm going to ride, just beat myself up for, I'm not even going very far today. It's just a crap day. But I keep thinking it'll be my luck. I'll really put in a solid effort and wear myself right out, and then when I finally get to the point I have to stop, I'll look around and there'll be little tiny bushes after I passed all these little turnoffs here. So I know I'm not going to stop now. It's only 1:30, but I'm still kind of, I think what's going to happen is I got about 2 more miles of climbing and then it's supposed to drop off a bit. I don't want to camp up here in the open because it's just wide open and the wind is just howling. So I'm trying to get back down, but at the same time, I'm in like first and second gear, like the littlest climbing gear on the front, just trying to keep forward motion. And I'm pulling, this is like a few days back where I was pulling 5 to 10 amps just trying to move. It's just hammering me. I would be, well, first, I was really tempted to stay in that campsite that I was in last night. I mean, it was only $5 a night. Not much for facilities, but, well, that's the thing, it really wasn't protected. I didn't have a good sheltered place. So tonight is going to be much less windy, but still windy, probably at least 10 mile an hour winds. Tomorrow is going to be like today, so if I stop here now, I'm just going to have to do the same thing tomorrow. The only difference is I'd get an earlier start probably. But yeah, I just keep holding the batteries down, so I decided, all right, it's about 1:30 now. I'm going to just sit here for at least half an hour, take a break, get in the shelter of the tree, and kind of warm up a bit because I'm still wearing all my layers. I haven't taken anything off yet. So let the battery recover and then try to put in another, I don't know if I can put another 10 miles in. That's better than nothing, I guess. Yeah, it's crazy. Well, it has not been a stellar day. We climbed a giant hill, and as soon as I got to the top, I hit a headwind, and it was just like, literally takes the wind out of your sails, or puts wind back in your sails going the other way, or I don't know. So it's almost 3 o'clock. The forecast is for it to get really cold tonight, so I'm thinking I want shelter. And every now and then I'll see a patch of these trees, and I was going to try to push for another half an hour or an hour, and then I saw this and I'm like, well, okay. At the moment, the wind is coming from that way towards us. The middle tree has a really nice flat area on the backside closest to us that I could put the bed, and standing down there, it's just a quiet little pocket. I think that would be perfect. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the bike up here for now. I have just been wiping out the batteries today. A couple times I've stopped for a 20-minute, half-hour break, and they just aren't coming up fast enough. I had a full charge this morning, so that wasn't the problem. It's just a hard push. So, yeah, I think it was 18.9 miles from the campsite to here. Unbelievable. But it is what it is. Going to be days like that. Yesterday, well, I stopped early yesterday because of the high wind warning, and I was already starting to push a wind. And I think that was another 20-mile day. So what I'm thinking is, this morning I took a long time getting out of camp because I was cold and wet and had to wait for things to dry. So it was about 9:30 when I started rolling, and then 2 miles on a soft, sandy, gravelly road. So it was closer to 10:30, I think, by the time I got onto the paved road. Plus I filled up my water bottles at the ranger station again. So didn't get an early start anyway. And the wind was already blowing when I started, so never got any better really. The only time I didn't really have the headwind was when I was going up the steep hill. So, that would have been the worst. So, anyway. Kind of disappointed, but, it is what it is. If you're going to run on solar, you got to respect how much power you got. And the last few days, I just haven't felt really like pushing hard. So maybe I am just tired, which is, seems reasonable. Just wear yourself out after a while. So I think if I stop today early again, like I did yesterday, give myself just a good sit-down break and chill out for a while, and try it again tomorrow. The forecast is for more wind tomorrow, so maybe we'll just chip it away 20 or 30 miles a day instead of thinking 50 and 60. After tomorrow, it's supposed to warm back up into the 60s instead of the 40s and 50s. It's not going to get over 50 degrees today, I don't think. I'm still wearing the toque and the mask over my face, so yeah. And then I'm looking behind me. This is the thing, is I got all this blue sky in front of me, but with the headwind, I'm just blowing through the battery. I just don't have enough solar to catch enough power yet. Fast enough. If everything works, I've got enough. If it's marginal, then I don't have enough. So, yeah, now you're looking behind. It's like, well, are we going to get rained on again? Forecast says not, but all of the people in the camp that I talked to, well, 2 other people, I guess. Well, one party had 3 people, and the other one was 1 person. They all had weather apps, and nobody thought it was going to rain, and we actually got sleet. So it is what it is. Yeah, anyway. At least my stuff is pretty dry right now, so if I got shelter and we're not going to have 60-mile-an-hour winds, then I could put the plastic bag over the sleeping bag, and if it does rain, it won't get wet, and then I can pack up faster in the morning. I think that's the best we can hope for. Early start, usually you get ahead of the wind. And, yeah. Shouldn't be any big super climbs like I had this morning, so that'll help too. Yeah. I think I'll just find a spot to sit out of the wind and enjoy the sunshine for now. Yeah, I guess what I got to be thinking is 50 miles a day average and then adjust for conditions. And as I put in more miles, I'll have a better idea how far I can go in a day. Yeah. I had probably a few lucky days in the beginning, so I set my average higher. And then I've had some days that were just nothing, so. Anyway, I guess that's the deal. I'll bring you the real story as it happens, not what we think is going to happen. It's kind of like in sports. If you just looked at what the predictions were, you wouldn't have to play the game. There's always that weird factor you didn't think of. Yeah. I guess that's it for today. 20 miles. It wasn't all hard, but there was some definitely good climbing in there, so yeah. Guess that's it for then. Stay tuned and thanks for following along. For now.